Hi, I'm Ian Olson. Welcome to Selling Success. We're the experts in relationship selling, and we believe passionately in helping our clients build great value for their customers. Now, first of all, I'd like to start by wishing you a very happy new year. I'm expecting it to be a tremendous year for those of us at Selling Success, and we're very excited about the opportunities that this year presents for us. And I'm hoping it's going to be a tremendous year for you and all of you out there that are listening to my videos on a regular basis. And what I'd like to do today is talk to you about a series of conversations I had over the Christmas period, as you do with people at parties and social gatherings. And one of the things that I was reminded about was something that I experienced many years ago, back in the previous recession of the 90s, when I was working with a team of people. And at the time I was working with a team of salespeople, and one member of the team joined us as a result of a takeover. And for the purpose of this story, I'd like to call this young lady Sophie. And Sophie's situation is quite simple, that she'd previously worked for the business that I was with then. She'd left that company. She'd worked away with another company quite successfully for 12-18 months, and all of a sudden, due to a business takeover, she'd found herself back in the same job, in the same room, in the same company, in the same desk, and she was mighty frustrated. And as her boss, I was finding it particularly challenging trying to manage and coach and motivate her, because clearly she was very unhappy being back doing this work in the same job and in the same place. So we sat down and we talked about ways that she could overcome some of the challenges she was struggling with in the job, and I looked at her situation on an operational level and gave her lots of advice, and you know, that proved useful. But towards the end of the conversation, I decided, having spoken to Sophie, to mention to her a book that I'd been introduced to around about that time. And that book is this one. It's called If Life is a Game, These Are the Rules, and it's by Cherry Carter Scott. And it's a very interesting book. She lists 10 rules about being a human being, and I would encourage you to get copies of these rules on the internet, and certainly read the book. It's a great book. But in relation to Sophie and her story, we talked about specifically the first 4 rules. And the first 4 rules are these. Firstly, that we're given a body and it's ours for our life. Secondly, that we're enrolled on the University of Life. Thirdly, that there are no mistakes, only lessons. And fourthly, that a lesson will be repeated over and over again until we learn the lesson. And it was that 4th lesson which was particularly pertinent, I felt, at the time for Sophie, and we discussed what that might be, and we talked about it in some detail. And I'm pleased to say that eventually she found out what she felt it was, and I worked with her and supported her over the coming months, and I'm delighted to say she went on to be a huge success. It helped her resolve a number of issues in her personal life, and you know, now, many years on, she's married, she's got children, she's got a tremendous relationship with her husband, and she subsequently went on, after that period of time working with me, to become a manager and eventually a sales director and eventually run her own business. So she turned out to have a huge success. But I was prompted about this story because of the people I was talking to over Christmas. They were saying in the current economic climate how they were struggling, and how, you know, it felt like they were being repeated with the same stories over and over again, or same challenges. So I talked about this story of Sophie. I talked about the challenges that she'd faced and the other people that I've coached and helped along the way. And I'm pleased to say this week I've had phone calls and emails from people and saying how, wow, they've identified what it is and they've made changes, and all of a sudden other things in their life which have been blocking had suddenly moved on. Clients have come back. Projects which had been delayed have suddenly been reinitiated. And you know, that's what happens. That is, I can't explain why. It's a bizarre thing, but the universe for some reason forces you to look at yourself until eventually you do, and you identify whatever it is that's in the dark corners or recesses of your mind or your life, and that eventually you find out what it is, and when you overcome that, you'll be amazed how much energy you've got, and you'll be amazed how all these other obstacles start to move out the way. If you want me to give you a rational reason for it, I can't explain it. But I've witnessed it many times. I know lots of people it's happened to, and I know lots of people who talk about this sort of thing. So if you're struggling at the beginning of 2012 to move your life forward, if that dream that you had many moons ago of creating a vision of a business or a lifestyle for yourself, and it's not happening, then it's not often that the universe doesn't support people in achieving their dreams, but it usually asks something in exchange. It normally asks you to grow in a personal way, and maybe you're resisting some of that personal growth, and maybe you need to look at that. So I would encourage you to do that. I'd encourage you to go away. If I can help, please give us a call. I'd be delighted to talk to you on the phone or Skype or whatever. I wish you a very, very successful 2012, and I'm sure you'll have one. I'd like to leave you with a comment by a very famous man, Albert Einstein, who once said that no problem can be solved with the same level of consciousness that created it. And I think if you bear that in mind and you bear the rules that are in this book in mind, you may find that that helps unlock, that turns out to be the key that unlocks your door and helps you move forward to the next stage of your life. So have a great year. I hope we'll speak to each other again. Please, please, please email me and let me know if this has been of help to you. Well, yeah, let's speak to each other again. Take care. Bye-bye.